last week we listed a number of reasons why the proposed settlement that would help schools pay players probably won't hold up. You're just going to have lawsuits over here and lawsuits over here. You're going to say, well, it's $20 million is what they're aiming for. Well, that's a salary cap, and nobody collectively bargained for it. So all it's going to take is one kid and one lawyer to get in front of one judge who says, yeah, that's not legal. But anyway, the Department of Education weighed in this week, and they put out a memo that simply said, hey, if schools are planning to take NIL dollars that they raise from collectives and then pay players directly, which is part of the House settlement plan, well, you can't give more to football than you do other sports, which was the plan, the key part of that plan. That would be a Title IX violation. For those people who say, well, we don't like Title IX, Title IX is the law of the land. So you might not like a law, but it is a law. And their quote, the memo said, when a school provides athletic financial assistance in forms other than scholarships, including compensation using NIL, such assistance must be made proportionately available to male and female athletes. So you're continuing to go down this path toward the House settlement. You know somebody's going to challenge it in court on the salary cap side of it. Now you've already found this out, that if you go down this road, you're probably going to hit with the Title IX, which I think 99% of people already saw this coming. Reactions to this. Fans want this to get to an end. I want it to get to an end. There's no end in sight. There's no fix.
Gosh,
people want a resolution to when's this NIL transfer portal madness going to stop. I don't see it. I don't see how they're going to get to one because everything they throw out has an issue. Gentlemen, any thoughts on the Title IX aspect of this?
You know, I think the Title IX aspect of this is what will end up causing the most litigation. I think a lot of these other things can get solved, but how do you solve the Title IX implications from this? I mean, do you got to start going through your athletic program and saying, sorry, golf, you're gone. Sorry, men's tennis, you're gone. You know, and when they talk about proportional, are they talking about you've got to pay equal numbers of players in your athletic department, male and female?
Equal amount of money to
or is
both
it equal
sides.
amount of money?
Yeah.
Well, I just don't see how that even begins to work.
Is this like
don't
the,
either.
the start of the
More towards the super conference in football, where football is its own separate thing, and you do the Title IX, and because those numbers, you got so many players on scholarship in football.
Yeah.
How is that going to equate to like 15 scholarships in women's basketball?
Well, that's the problem.
That's the thing.
That's the
That's
problem.
the
is
thing.
Football never should have been included in Title IX. I don't know how you don't include it, but you shouldn't have
Right.
because it's too many scholarships. And also, in this instance, it makes far more revenue than anything else. Add all the rest of them together, they don't make what football makes. So it doesn't need to be counted there. I think most people, most reasonable people, certainly people with daughters, would say, yeah, making it equal, that's fine. You have enough women's teams, same as men's teams. The problem is there's no women's team that has 85 scholarships. There's no women's team or other men's team that brings in the money. So it shouldn't count, but it does.
But it does.
I don't know how you not count it.
There are
Don't count
only
it.
two revenue-producing sports consistently in the NCAA. It's football and men's basketball. And as good as the Lady Vols were under Pat Summitt, they always lost money.
Yeah.
They never made any money. And there are a lot of men's sports and women's sports beyond men's basketball and football that they lose money. I don't know how you make this equal. I don't know what the formula is going to be. I don't think football should be included in that because it is the only one that makes revenue, and there's no equivalent sport for women to football in the 85 scholarships. So I don't know what the answer is going to be, but I'm sure they'll screw it up.
Now, the interesting thing here is the schools are thinking, okay, we'll bring in this money. They're still going to keep the collectives to go out and raise money. That's going to be one of their fundraising arms.
Right.
Now, give us the money and we'll pay it out. If it's the collectives doing the paying, you don't have to worry about Title IX.
That's a private entity.
Correct.
Right.
You don't have to worry about Title IX if you continue to do that, but they don't want to continue to do it. So it's like everything they want, there's an impediment. There's a wall between what they want and what they get. And the fix, it would seem, as we talked about last week, is give them contracts, make them employees. Well, that's what the schools don't want to do because then you're going to have to share some of that TV revenue.
The athletes I talk to don't want to be employees because they're going to get, if they become an employee, then they're going to get taxed on their scholarship money. So they don't want to be. I interviewed two of them. There was Jemima Ashak and Tamara Key with Tennessee and others at the SEC spring meetings. They didn't want to be employees because they want the non-taxable scholarship money that they get.
So the idea that you're sitting there at home saying, "I'll just get to an answer."
No.
I'm saying the same thing. It's frustrating to me that it's a little more bizarre each week. And there's a new thing that's been thrown at it. I hinted at it last week. It's one of those things I thought, now watch, down the line, well, it took a week. The line was a very short line. We'll tell you about a case between a player leaving Wisconsin from Miami. Get ready for eligibility rules to go away. Why, you can keep Peyton Manning here for 25 years, which I think Vol fans would have liked. Come on back. We'll discuss the next big issue with college sports that came up this week. That's next on The Sports Source.